What is up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Stefan Persson, also known as Infenzia. Today, let's make a low poly Spitfire. I went to work this morning and I got on the train, as usual, the 4:45 a.m. train. Very proud of that because usually I'm not a morning person, but now that I do game dev for a living, I can say that. Well, I guess I don't really do it for a living yet because I don't make any money on it, but maybe it could be a game that we've got a lot of faith in it, so let's make this one count. Got about 1,800 hours into this game so far, and we need to add another maybe 1,000 hours to get the prototype ready. Yeah, it's a big prototype. Multiplayer game, a lot of fun, addictive. Yeah, I'm excited for it. Still, let's get cracking. I was going to say, when I went on the train this morning, really frosty outside, -2-3 degrees Celsius. Have a look at this footage. I shot it out the window. It was quite crazy. Zooming past through the night, and it was flashing blue lights from the electricity from the frost-covered power lines. So that was quite a cool effect. But let's get started. Let's make a Spitfire. Okay, so I've got Blender 2.81 loaded. First thing we're going to do is Google some reference images. Spitfire blueprint. And let's grab one of these reference images here. This one will do. Let's copy this image and bring it into a photo editing software. I use Photoshop, but you could use pretty much anything. And then we need to crop these images out. So let's get this top view first. I'll just use the marking tool and select this. And let's paste this into a new sheet. And let's get rid of some of this stuff that we don't need. The text here. Basically, we need this to be matching up pretty much exactly in the viewports. So let's get this. I hold the shift key to multi-select regions here. Would have been nice with some. I know there's a trim feature in Photoshop, but it doesn't really work when it's not perfectly white or transparent. It's got some artifacts from the JPEG. That should do. Let's copy it, or let's go to image and crop it. Let's save this, Control-Alt-Shift-S and save it as a PNG. Spitfire top. And let's grab a side view here. Let's do the left one. Control-C, new image, Control-V. Now we do this tedious thing a little bit again. That turned out pretty good. Crop, but we need to do the top and the bottom as well. So I'll hold the shift key to reselect here. One more pixel. That's it. Crop, Alt-Control-Shift-S for web page save. And we'll do Spitfire left. Can I even spell? Spitfire. And let's grab the front view. Let's get this marking tool here. So it's important that all of these images are to scale as well, so you don't grab a reference photo where they've got different scales from the front and the top view, for example. See that there is quite a few of those laying around the internet. It's really important that they're in the same scale, so think about that. Let's crop this, and let's do the wings. Here we go. Oh, missed the top. Crop. Oh, not trim. Trim is a good one, but it doesn't work for my purpose since it's not in some artifacts in the white there. So let's save this. Spitfire front. So there we go. Now we've got the images that we need. Now I should also mention, I started up Blender, and I did by mistake. I accidentally hit Control-1, and just to let you know, that's a really handy shortcut to add the modifier for subdivision. And Control-2, for example, subdivides it twice. So I didn't really know that shortcut, so that's a freebie for you. Keep that in mind. I will. Control-3 does it 3 times. But we won't be needing that. What we will be doing is bring these images in. So I'm going to drag them. Let's take away this box as well, actually. And now I'm going to drag in the top view. On the keypad, I'm going to press the number 1 key to get the front orthographic view. And then I'm going to bring in here the Spitfire front view. Alt-G to center it. And then let's press 3 on the keypad, and that will bring me into the right view. Let's see, we want to have right. We've got the left image. Let's see, view from the left. that'll do. Alt-G, center it. And then let's press 7 on the keypad as well. And that'll bring us to the top orthographic view. And then we bring in the top. We just drag it in. And Alt-G to center it. And this one we want to flip around, because if I do from the front view, we see that this one's not rotated correctly. So we want to rotate, press Z and rotate it -90 degrees around the Z axis. That should be aligned correctly then. And then we also see that the scale of this is incorrect. So let's shrink this side view one, press S to scale it, and then just bring it down so it's matching this one. Or the top and the side view seems to match pretty good. And the front view seems to match pretty good as well. And it's in the center of the cone roughly. So that should do it. All right, what we want to do now is we want to change the opacity of these. So let's double click A to deselect everything, and then I hit A again to select everything. And then let's go into here, the object data properties, and then switch on alpha, and then lower it to 0.3. Oh yeah, and I can't do that on multiple objects, so I need to do this, unfortunately, per image. So I select them one by one, use alpha 0.3. And finally, what we need to do as well is we need to, let's actually name these properly as well. So this is the top view, this is the front, and this is the side view. And let's create a new collection here. A right click, new, and then call this reference. Do you catch that? I looked into the camera. Eye contact. Wasting time here. Let's see. I'll mark these, drag them into the reference, and then finally I'll go up here to the filter and enable the toggle for restriction, so I don't, if I click on this one, it'll make it impossible to select these, which is really nice when you're working. You don't want to accidentally select these reference images. Right, so now we're all set up to start making the Spitfire. I won't be making it to scale now, because I can scale it later on if I want. And again, I want to stress that I'm doing, I don't want to stress, I hate to stress, but I want to point out that I make low poly objects, so I'm going to make this a low poly fighter plane, or Spitfire. If you want to do high polys, you could always keep refining it and add detail, but I love the low poly style, and that's what I'll be making today. So with that said, let's hit Shift A and then go to Mesh and Cube, because that's what we're going to start with. And then I press Tab to get into edit mode, Control R to do a loop cut, right click to center it, press 3 to get face select, hit this left side, and then delete all, or the vertices I want to delete. And then I go to this modifier tab and I add the mirror modifier and I hit clipping, so we don't get any splits in the center of the object if we accidentally part some of the vertices there. Now we're ready to get started. Let's actually call this Spitfire instead, and let's move it out of the reference into this collection here. We can minimize that. Okay, with that object selected, press A and then S to scale these down a little bit. Select this end vert, or the end here. I do Shift Space, and then I can press G or select this one, Move, because I like to have this little manipulator, I think it used to be called anyway. I don't know if it's called that anyway. I like to have that one visible. And then we'll just size it to the width of the aircraft, and hit A to select everything. 3 on the keypad, S to scale, and Z to scale it on the Z axis. Let's move it up a little bit. S to scale it down to Z. There we go. And now I select this face here, go to the side view again, 3 on the keypad. We can drag this to here maybe, scale it on the Z, move it up, press E again to extrude, S to scale. This time I didn't lock it on the Z axis because it's okay to scale it a bit widthwise as well, because we're going to shrink it here. E to extrude again, and let's do all the way to the back here. And now we're going to enable this here, which is the toggle X-ray, because we want to start seeing the profile lines here. Let's refine this in a little second, but let's do the front. So I'll select that face, press 3 on the keypad, E to extrude. We're going to do the cockpit here in a minute. Scale Z down to there. E to extrude again. Scale it down a little bit. E to extrude again. Here we want to have a few extra lines of detail to get the shape correct. E to extrude again. S to scale. S, scale it up a little bit. Let's do the nose cone at the same time here. E to extrude, S to scale. Move it down slightly. E, add some more details here so we can get the roundness. And then one more time, E to extrude, S to scale it down to there. All right, so now we're starting to get the basic shape of the Spitfire here. What we could do here as well, let's refine this one. I press 2 on the keypad to get into edge select, and then hold Shift and Alt, and I select this, and then it selects a loop around this. And then let's move this a little bit to there. And then let's press Control R to do a loop cut, put it there. Then I select, let's say that can be selected still, press 3 on the keypad. Move it to there, and then now we're going to move this up a little bit. So I'll select that edge, press 3 again on the keypad, and move it up to there. And again, I'm going to make this, I've said it a billion times now, but I'm going to make this low poly. So let's keep it simple. Okay, I select this edge, move it in. We can actually look from the top view here, have these edges selected. So it's not really symmetrized, full symmetry on the screenshot that I got, but that's okay. Let's just do one side and make sure that one looks all right. Should be fine. No one will be able to tell on the details because we're going to keep it quite low poly anyway. Let's see the front here as well. Here we can see as well that, oh yeah, what happened here? One mistake here. Don't know what happened. Let's move that one back anyway. Okay, so let's go to side, select this one, 7 on the keypad to go to the top view. Select that one, move it in, and then finally the tip here as well. Oh. It's a bit, when you got X-ray open, sometimes it's easy to click the wrong lines there. So to be careful in with this one a little bit. I guess we don't really have to be too picky. Let's see if I see the front view here. Let's hide this object a little bit. We're going to have a roundish shape here. So let's make it, I think I'll do 2 loop cuts. So I use the scroll wheel to scroll it up a little bit. So if I use the scroll wheel, as you can see, you can select how many loop cuts you want. And if you accidentally move this a bit, just hit the right mouse button to recenter it. And then let's look from the side view again. These are actually in good place. What we need to do is press AA on the keyboard, hold Alt and Shift and select this line here. That'll select the whole edge. Press 1 on the keypad to see the front, and then let's move it a bit in. And then we don't really need to move the back anymore. So let's deselect this one. Like I said, it's very easy to select the wrong one there. I should do 1 on the keypad again. Let's move this in. Let's deselect. Actually, let's move this out a little bit again. And deselect this one. 1. Get the front view. Move that in. That should do. And let's do the same for the top. We double click on A on the keyboard to deselect everything. Shift Alt, click on any edge there. Actually, let's deselect the back one because we don't want to move that one. It's already quite tight. And then let's move this in to here. And let's deselect the front if we can hit it. And let's deselect these to get the okay. And then I guess the cockpit is a little bit wider than I have done it here. So let's get the cockpit one here, which is this one. 1 on the keypad, and let's bring that out to the cockpit size. Bring it down a bit. Can probably bring this one down a bit. And this one. These will bring down a bit as well. Let's look from the side here. That line looks good. Let's actually switch off X-ray for a second and hide the reference to see what it looks like. That'll do for now. It looks really weird in the front there. Let's fix that in a sec. All right, let's fix this Let's enable the reference again. We can keep it non-transparent now so we see a little bit better. Well, let's fix these shapes a bit that are a bit off. We can toggle the X-ray to see. Okay, here's the nose cone, so that's all right. So do some refining here. I think this line, if I look on the blueprint, there's a natural line going across here, so let's follow that one. Let's bring this one up a bit. G to grab it as well, you can do it. G to grab and move. G and G. Here I'll press 2 Shift Alt to move these, and then let's scale the Z axis down a bit. Move it up. There we go. Let's see the top here as well. Let's move this out. Get a bit of a nicer line here. I'll press 1 to get into vertex select instead. Looks good. This one is too close, so let's move this one out. Okay, and if you can't move it out, it's because clipping is enabled there. So that's okay. Guess the aircraft is really, really narrow back here anyway, so let's keep it like that. All right, that'll have to do. Let's disable this. Yep, that'll do. I'm okay with this. We can always tweak it a little bit later on. So now we're gonna make this fin here. So I'll press 3 to get this face selected, and then I press I for indent, and then let's press B. That'll help to get the centering okay when you're doing an inset over the center line. Helps it a little bit. Thanks to whoever pointed that out in my last video. I wasn't aware of that a while back, so I appreciate that one. Okay, and now that we've got this one, we can select this face and press 3 for side view on the keypad, E to extrude, S to scale, and Y to scale it on the Y-axis. Let's move that one back. E to extrude again, S to scale it, hit Y to force the Y-axis. And then E one more time, S to scale, and press Y. And now R to rotate it a little bit as well. S to scale, Y a little bit. There, that's okay. And it's really, really thin here, so let's make this slightly wider. I disable clipping so I'm allowed to move this out, otherwise you'll find that the vertices are stuck there. And I'm not really following the proper shape of a airfoil, or whatever it's called. So this plane won't fly. Well, it will fly because I'm going to make it fly, but it won't fly in real life if we are to 3D print it. So now we've got the main body, or fuselage, or whatever it's called. This is not good. Let's shape this. I'm just going to freehand this a little bit. G. I don't think there's any chance in hell that a Spitfire is looking like this. So let's move this up. I think it was a lot rounder. And then let's move these out a bit. Okay. Not going for perfection, I'm going for simplicity here. It'll just have to look cool enough for a game. That's it. All right, body shape. Okay, let's make a wing. tab, and then to get the wings, let's do 3, enable X-ray, and actually I'll do top view and see. Let's do a loop cut. Let's press 2 to get into edge select, and then let's move these back to there. And then let's see, this one, I'll do a loop select 7 on the keypad and move this one back to there to be aligned more with the wings. Try to keep the vertex count as low as I can. And then let's select these faces that are going to form part of the wing. Let's see, where do we have the wing? Yeah, they come out quite low here. So let's press E to extrude, right click to snap it back, press 1, move them out a little bit to the side, and then press R to rotate these, and S to scale, and we only want to scale on the Z axis. Like so. And then here, let's press 2 on the keypad, or no, on the keypad on the top row there, 7, and then let's bring this one back to here and out a bit. And then 3. Let's switch off X-ray for now so I can actually select these faces. Hold the shift key to select multiple faces. E to extrude, S to scale it down. Let's see the front view. 1 on the keypad is the front view. 7 to get back to top view. S to scale it, and Y to scale a little bit on the Y axis. Move it down. E to extrude again. 1 to get it into on the keypad to get the front view. G to grab it and move it down a bit. S to scale it. Move it down. 7 on the keypad to see the top view. Move it. S to scale it, and Y to scale on the green Y axis. Let's do one more here. S or E to extrude. S to scale it. S scale again up a little bit. Front view. Move it down, and then one final time, E to extrude, S to scale, move it down, R to rotate slightly, just to not keep it straight, I guess. That's it. 1 to see the front view, let's move it down a little bit. And then make this one slightly thinner, hold the shift key to select those, move it down. So now we have the shape of the wings. And the nice thing with the mirror modifier is that we only have to do one side. So that saves a lot of time. Let's do the back ones here as well. So let's hit, let's see, what should we hit? Which key? 3 to get the side view. Nope, 7 on the keypad to get the top view. And this one, I think I'll move back now. I'll select 2 on the keypad. No, not on the keypad. I'll hit 2 on the top row to get into edge select. And then 1 on the key. 3 on the keypad. Enable X-ray. Oh, this one is all the way up here actually. So let's do a different approach here. I'll select this face here and press I for inset. And then let's hit edge select, S to scale, G to move, G to move. And now we've found where this wing is going to be. So let's hit 3 on the top row and then select that face, 7, E to extrude. And I see that we have to cancel that one, Control Z, because it starts really far in here. It's not really visible from the side view. So let's go to top view and move this one all the way into where it seems to start here. Hit 3 on the top row, 7 on the keypad, E. Oh, interesting. Escape again, Control Z. Let's move this one back as well to where it starts here. There it is. And now let's try it one more time. Top view, 7 on the keypad, E to extrude, S to scale, force it on the Y axis by pressing Y, move it into place. E to extrude again, S for scale, and Y to force it on the Y axis. E one more time to extrude, S and Y. R to rotate a little bit. E one more time, S to scale it, Y to scale it on the Y-axis, or to rotate it a bit. And this probably looks hideous. It does. So we have to make it a lot thinner. So select those. Press 2 on the keypad instead and get these leading edges. And let's go into vertex and select here, modify these a bit. Okay, 7. So the shape of the wing, I can also hit Control and use the right mouse button to ring select here, which is quite handy. There we go. And then let's see. Let's just make a bit of a tidier shape here. I'll just select these vertices and straighten them out a bit. Again, no need to be too picky. So this shall do. Top view, front view. Okay, so these are a little bit too high. Let's double click on A. Hold the Control key, use the right mouse button to ring select these and bring them down. R to rotate it, G to move. That's it. So now we have the rear, whatever those are called, stabilizers or something, like my kids have got on their bikes. Stabilizers. Well, they don't anymore now because they've learned how to ride. Terrible at this, but so let's go and click save and save it as Spitfire. Okay. Now what we'll do is we'll add the propeller, I guess. So front view, and let's make a propeller here. So I'll just hit here a vertex in the front, press 1 on the keypad, and then here I press Shift S to go cursor to selected. That'll bring the 3D cursor to the selected object or selected vertex. I hit Shift A and then I do a new cube. And that'll add it into the same mesh, but it's okay. We add a new set of linked vertices here, so they can be treated quite nicely outside the airplane anyway. S to scale it down. Let's detach this already. I don't actually need it on this main object, so because we're going to want to be able to spin the propeller anyway. So let's hit P and then separate by selection. That created it into a new object here. So let's call this propeller. And let's make sure that we have the propeller selected here. Yeah, and then let's apply the modifier. We don't actually need a modifier at all, so let's hit delete that modifier. So now we've just got a simple cube here. What we'll do here is just mimic the propeller somewhat, so can probably go out of X-ray mode, tab to get into edit mode, A to select everything, S to scale it. And then this propeller is somewhat rotated, but I think I'll make mine straight here anyway. I'll just wing this a little bit. Wing it, get it? Airplane, wing it. S to... oh, bit of coffee. S to scale, Y to scale it on the Y-axis, and S to scale it on the X-axis. And then let's just bring this up. Select 3 on the top key, and make sure we have a face selected here. And then let's hit X-ray so we can see. Actually, we'll select all of these again, scale them down, scale them up. Hit this face here, E to extrude, S to scale it just on the X-axis, E to extrude, let's move it, E to extrude again, S to scale, maybe something like that, S, X to scale again, E to extrude, S to scale, R to rotate it a bit, E to extrude, S to scale. Actually, I should rotate it the other way probably. Double click on A to deselect everything, 2, Shift Alt, and then let's rotate this one a bit, and G to grab it. I want to color this tip a slightly different color here, so let's move this. Feels like this line should go in a little bit. So we've got, and then let's move this line in as well. have to put some own character to this. So this is not to do a documentary of a proper Spitfire. It's just to get it close enough to what we want. S, let's scale this whole thing up a little bit. So if this one was to rotate, yeah, that'll do. Actually, we should actually do a bit of a twist on the blade as well. So for that, I'll click 3 to get into face select, and then I'll select this face here, and then I press Control plus on the keypad. Let's go to this one called Proportional Editing, Smooth. R for rotate and Z for the Z axis, and then use the scroll wheel to scroll it down to get the proportional down a little bit. Control Z or minus to reduce the selection, R to rotate Z, and then Control minus again, R, Z, and Control minus again, R, Z. That should do. Now we've got a bit of a twist on the blade as well. Don't know if that's the proper twist on the blade. Again, it doesn't need to propel this plane, so for visuals it should be fine. So this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blade propeller. So for this, if I go out of edit mode here and then click on this one, if I click R on rotate now, it's actually got a pretty decent center, but I need to move the center out into the center of this cone here. And to do that, let's do tab and go into this object, and then I press tab to get into edit mode, and let's select 2 on the, so we can select this edge, and then 1 again on the keypad, Shift S and set cursor to selected here. And then now we've got the cursor where I want the center of this propeller to be. So we can tab out of this one, select the propeller blade again, and then press F3 and type set origin here. And then set origin to 3D cursor. So now when we rotate this blade, it'll spin perfectly around that center. So if we start by rotating this one to here, matches up fairly good. Shift D here to duplicate it. Right click, press R to rotate. Let's bring the calculator up here actually. How many degrees do we need? 360 divided by 5. 72 degrees. So rotate 72. Shift D to duplicate it, right click to snap it back, R for rotate 72 degrees. Shift D, right click, R 72, Shift D, right click, R 72. There we go. You can use an array for this, but since it's only 5 units, I think that's fine enough to do it manually like that. And then we can keep these as a single objects. So let's take all of these propellers. I hold the Shift key and then Control J to merge it into one object. And now we have the propeller here that will be able to spin later on. Okay. What else should we do? I think the cockpit will do. I'm not going to do the landing gear for this one. So let's just do the cockpit here. So I go into the X-ray, press 3, tab to get into edit mode here. And to get the cockpit here, let's do 2. Not on the keypad, but on the top row there, so we can get edge select. 1, nope, 3 on the keypad. Move this one in a bit. 1 to get the vertex as well, move that one in. All right. Let's press Control R. That would make actually a massive loop cut. We don't really want that much extra geometry, so I think what we'll do now is do another little trick here. So I'll press 3 again to go on the side view, and then K for the knife cutting tool. So I'll press K, and then we can create some new lines here. And then again, as I said, we're going to keep this very low poly. So let's just do Shift and select these ones. I for inset. And if the center, I was going to point to the screen, that's not going to work. But if the center is not doing it so nicely, like this one is, you can press the B key, because sometimes it does this, so you get a center line. You don't want that one. So B on the keyboard will get rid of that one for you. And let's just make it something like that. So let's select, let's do this one by hand, I think. K to get some additional lines here, just to make it, we can colorize that one a little bit then as a metal one. Again, I think that's good enough for what we need to do. Let's, we want to keep it low poly, like I said. I've been saying that a bit too much now, maybe. Control S to save this one. Now what we'll do is, I think that's sufficient for what we need to do. So let's make, I think I'll make a copy of this one, Shift D, and then just call it backup for now, because now I'm going to start colorizing this. So we'll hide that one. So we've got the Spitfire here. So now we need a few colors. So let's bring up some reference images. Let's do Spitfire. And then let's just pick anything here. This one, for example, or what should we do? Should we do a camouflage one? Yeah, that looks good. So it's got a gray and a green, and then we need white, blue, yellow, black, and a few things. So then I recommend going to this pixelart.com, which is a free one, and you just do start drawing, new drawing, and then we'll do just 4x4 pixels, because we're going to colorize it using this pixel colorizing method. So let's get some gray, 2 different grays. Let's get some green for the, let's close this advert here. Maybe a different gray there as well. Some sort of a green there was, I saw. Which one should be good? Maybe something like that. And a darker one. Let's try a few different ones here. All right, that should do. And then we needed white, black, need some form of red, and then I saw some yellow on there. Let's do different blues for the windows potentially. So let's try a few. So we have a few different options here. And let's try here, let's have some darker grays as well. So that should do it, I think. Did I forget anything? Blue, white, red. Yeah, that should do. Now we just download this one. Download. Showing folder. Let's call this one Spitfire. And then I drag this into, not there yet. I pressed escape there. I want to go into the shading. And then I want to select this material here. And then we drag it in to here. And an important thing here is to change it from linear to closest, otherwise you'll get artifacts and blurry colors. So we got the base color there. It's going to look hideous. First we need to switch this one to texture. As you can see, it looks hideous, and that's because we need to go to UV editing, also enable the texture here. Click on A to select all objects here, UV, and then just hit reset here. Zoom in here with the mouse wheel, click A to select all the vertices, S to scale it, and 0.01, and then G to move them. And now we've colored the whole plane into this dark gray. And now we can just pick different faces here. So let's hold the Shift key and select these windows and do a blue color on those. We can hold the Shift key and select these and color those, maybe this dark color there. And the nose cone, I think, what was that? That was quite bright, wasn't it? Yeah, so let's select this front here. Select these 3, hit Control and plus on the keypad to expand or grow the selection there. And then G, let's make this one white for now, I guess. Yeah. That's it. Now let's look again here. We're going to do some camouflage stuff here as well on the side. Actually, let's add these here first. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 little things here on the side for the, I guess it's some sort of exhaust thing. So let's hit the X-ray, enable the reference. Here we see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I click on 2 to get edge select, Shift S to cursor to selected. Yeah. 3 on the keypad for side view, Shift A, and then let's add a cube here, and then go into the modifier tab. Clipping is disabled, which is good for now, because when we scale it down, we just want it not to be connected in the center here. S to scale it down even more. 3 to get into side view again, G to move it into there, and then S to scale it, and Y to extend it. R to rotate a little bit, and then now hit Control R and use the mouse wheel to scroll it up so you get 6 different sections. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that's 7. So let's go down 1 to there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And right click to get them to snap back. And then hit 3 and select these faces here. And now we want to do I for inset. And as you can see, it's doing all of them at once, and we want to do them individually. So just hit I again. And then E to extrude them. And then let's move them back a bit. So 7 to get into top view, shift space to get this move on, and move them back a bit. Then hit L to select all the linked vertices here. And then, it's actually selecting one that I didn't want. Let's double click on A, hit L. It's because we've got this one selected. Let's disable proportional editing. 7, move it in, R to rotate it a little bit. So again, I'm just going to make it look not authentic. Let's see. Let's L to select all the linked ones, move it maybe down a bit. Out. Maybe rotate them up a bit. And then R to rotate it into place. That should do. And then maybe they're way too big, so S to scale them, and then X to scale them on this X-axis. Move them in again. R to rotate it a bit. Maybe something like that should do. So make sure all of them are selected. Hit A on the left side here. Go to UV and hit reset. And then on the left side, S to scale 0.01, G, and then let's select this one here. Okay, that'll do. Let's hide the reference again. Let's hit Control S. You can tweak these if you want them to look differently. So now we're going to do the camouflage. So to do that, I'm going to apply the mirror modifier, and make sure you have a backup if you want one, in case you want to modify the mirrored version. But for my case, I want to start adding some geometry now, and I'm not going to make the exact pattern like this one has got. But if we go here into modeling view, hit tab, now I'm going to start using K, the knife tool, and start adding some shapes here as camouflage. And then you link these up here. And then let's add another one here. The reason why I do it this way instead of texture mapping it is because we're so low poly anyway that when we've got so few polygons, we don't need to spend a lot of... let's see, I got that one wrong. I can press 1 to see the vertices here instead, so that'll be easier to connect. Yeah, so the reason why I'm doing this method instead of doing a diffuse map or an albedo map is because that'll take up a lot of texture space, and you need quite a high detailed texture map, maybe 1024 by 1024, and that'll add a lot of size to this object. So instead of that, I trade that off. So I shrink the size down to basically just a few bytes worth of this 4x4 pixel texture. The benefit is by mapping it this way, I can scale this object up nearly infinitely, and it'll be really nice and sharp, clean edges, no blurriness from the texture map. So that's a real big benefit. The downside is that you do add some triangles to the object, but again, we're so low poly that I don't think that really matters. And if you're concerned about real-time shadows, you can make a duplicate of this model and really clean it up and have no extra details, and then use that as a hidden shadow caster instead. So that's one option you could do. So let's add some more here to K for the knife tool. K. Okay, and let's do a little loop here as well, like they had on that one. You can do it into the wing like this as well. You don't necessarily have to go full way to an edge, but what you need to be aware of something then. And that's if you bend this object using some sort of a vertex bender, then it'll look strange if they're not linked to each other. So be aware of that. If you want to bend your plane model, then you should not end them in a clean face like this. Then you should always try to connect it to some edges like this. All right, let's have a look. We're going to do some cross ones here as well. So K again. And let's start linking this across like this. to create more camouflage patterns. I'm sure there's a science to how this camouflage is meant to be, but my science is randomness at the moment. Okay. And I guess they have some here as well, yeah, on the end wings. Okay. So the knife tool is really neat for this. It's really handy to just add these shapes. And then as soon as I'm done with this, I'm going to start to apply the colors to this. Oop, Control Z, I did something wrong here. K again, hit these vertices. Yeah. Let's do a bit on this tip here as well. K is my friend. It's a beautiful tool. If used properly, don't cut yourself. Okay, and we've got this wing to play around with. So let's go up onto the front here maybe. Cut across here. Go underneath this wing here. And then you could also add the flaps and things like that, or whatever they're called. You know, the steering thing you use. I find it really relaxing to do this. I love doing low polygon art. Probably one of my favorite things nowadays. Oop, did something wrong. Escape if you do a mistake, you just hit escape. Not sure what I've done here. Oh yeah, Control Z actually. Let's get rid of this. I'm going to link these together like that instead. Control over here. Okay, and then finally let's just do a little bit here as well. Okay. Oh yeah, here's a good one as well. If you double click A, and then if you want to go past these things, just click on L and L on these while you hover over them, and H to hide them. And now you can use the knife tool here freely across. Okay. Okay, and then Alt H to bring those back. Double click A. Let's actually start colorizing this a little bit. So I'll hit 3 to get into face select, and then we start selecting a few of these. I just hold the shift key now, and then let's switch into the UV editing here. G to move that one there. Hold the shift key, mark these. G to move them. And let's do this part here. Just use the scroll wheel to zoom in and out. If you accidentally select a face here, just click on it again while you hold the shift key. No need to panic. Let's see what was my thought pattern here. I'll have to grab these as well, I think. Could have added some geometry under here as well, I guess, but never mind. on the left side, G, and let's move them to here. Just make sure I've got up to an hour already. Wow. Let's move and select these. Sometimes this little thing gets in the way, but it's all right. G to move them there. Let's select here. Here we can actually do this trick. I'll select the top one and press Ctrl plus on the keypad twice. G. And then here, let's color this. G. G again. Grab and move. Okay. Got some stuff on this wing. Hold the shift key and click like crazy. G, let's grab them over there, and then let's do this big patch here. G, move it, grab it and move it. And then we had one thing here, didn't we? Like this. G. Okay. Save this one, Control S. I think that'll do for now, the pattern. And let's add the final touch. First of all, let's make these propellers black. Then we need to go into shading and assign them the same material here. Go back into UV editing. Hit A to select all of the faces. UV and reset. Click A on the left side. S to scale 0.01. G to move. And then let's do these tips white. So we get a nice thing when they spin. You'll get that white circle. So I'd select the tips and press Ctrl plus and then G to move them and hit them onto the white there. There we go. Okay, what else? So I'm feeling quite happy with this. And now the last thing we need to do is just to put some of these on. And here's a bit of a trick, I guess. Let's move. Let's see, do we have the placements on these actually? Let's go to X-ray and then enable the reference. Yeah. So here we want to add the blue and red. So what I'll do is let's see. Let's just do go into modeling 7 to see the top view. And then shift and right click to get the cursor to right about there. And then shift A. Actually, we want to deselect this one and we don't want to have any objects. So I'll tab, make sure I don't have any objects selected. And then I do shift A. And then I do mesh. And then let's do a cylinder here. And then let's change. We want to keep the low poly look. So let's make that into 8. I press tab to get into edit mode. S to scale it down to be the correct size there. Let's enable X-ray. Let's select the bottom here actually. And then press Ctrl plus. And then let's delete faces. So I just have this top part left. 7 to get onto the top view. And then I for inset. And then bring it to there. And let's put a mirror modifier on this. And we should have one on the... Okay, the reason why it's not showing up over there, it's because the center of this object is here. So I press Shift, let's see, Shift C, that'll bring the cursor back to there. And then I do F3 and then set origin to 3D cursor. And since the origin is now in the center here, then it'll flip this one to be in the right place over here. So with this one selected, 7 to get into top view again. We can disable X-ray first of all. And then let's disable the reference. We don't need that at the moment. And then we have to assign here on the shading. Let's assign the same material. Go to UV editing and get out of X-ray. A to select everything. UV reset. Go to the left side. A to select everything. S scale 0.01. And then G to grab it. And then let's see, what colors was it? It was red in the center. And then blue on the sides here. Like that. Double click A. And then now we want to move this down onto the wings. Let's do add modifier and then do shrink wrap. And then select the target, this one. Press tab into edit mode and scale them down slightly. Let's see, A to select everything, scale it down slightly so it don't poke out of the wing there. Now we've projected it down to here. We can actually apply this one on shrink wrap one. And as you can see, it's too far down. So I go into tab and then move it up slightly. And then you could just leave it like this, because when you're far away from the plane, you won't really see it. You could press E to extrude it down a little bit to get it into a 3D look. L to get all the linked ones and lower it down. Then you have a, for definite that it won't show like a gap there. And I think what I'll do is I'll move these back a little bit as well. Even if they're not in the exact right place, I don't want them to bleed out through the edge there. All right, final thing now is just to put this one on the back here. And we'll do the same thing here. So I'll go into modeling. Let's get the side view, which is number 3 on the keypad. Let's enable transparency and let's show our reference again. Shift and right click to get our cursor there. Shift A and do a cylinder. Press R to rotate, Y to spin it on the Y axis and 90 degrees, S to scale it down, and then we'll do this. Oh, I've done something not so good there. Let's see. It's because I'm in the same object, so let's cancel away here until we get rid of that one. Redo. I want to create a new object, so double click A out of edit mode to make sure that everything's gone here. Let's repeat this process. So we show this again. Shift right click in the center there. Double click A, nothing is selected. Shift A, mesh, cylinder. Tab to get into edit mode. S to scale, and then R to rotate. Press Y for the Y axis and 90 degrees. And then S to scale it down a little bit again. That's it. And then now we should be looking a bit better, yeah. So let's select this face here, press Ctrl plus, and then delete this. Delete the faces. Select this one, 3 on the keypad. I for inset again, and I for inset one more time. Let's see. So it needs to be red in the center. First of all, we need to then go into the shading tab with this object selected. Click material. UV editing, let's hide the reference. A to select everything. A to select everything. UV reset. A to select S for scale 0.01. Let's start with the red, which is in the center. And then let's do this ring here. So the shift key just to multi-select. I can't scroll in and out. You can hit the delete key on the keyboard and it'll recenter around that area that you're working on, and then G here to get the white. Select these, they were blue, right? Yeah. G to select blue, and then what was the outer edge? Yellow. G, yellow. All right. Okay, and we need to do the same thing here. Shift S to get the cursor to selected. Go out of edit mode with tab F3 and set origin again. Origin to 3D cursor, and then let's shrink wrap this one now onto target here. Yeah, that's better. And then project. I want to project it. Negative. So let's apply this one. And now let's do the tab to get into edit mode and move it out a little bit. And then E to extrude it in. Ooh, it's a thick one. That doesn't work. Control Z. Let's move it in again. All right, so this one is a bit trickier. I think what I'll do is I'll scale it down a little bit. You won't be able to tell anyway. E to extrude. All right, let's just do this manual a bit then. Control plus, Control plus, Control plus again. Let's deselect these vertices here. Move this in until we find a suitable thing. I think that'll do. Again, we're going to view the plane from such a distance that it doesn't really matter that much. But if you want, you can actually hide the reference. Oh, I did something now. Blender 2.81 crashed on me. I guess you live and learn. Let's see if it auto-saved anything for me. I was here. So at least I'd saved it after I did the propeller, and I need to redo these things. That's a pain. Let's not be disappointed. Let's be positive. Let's show the reference again. Well, the good thing is I know how to do it now. So shift right click. That's it. Control S. Let's look in the modeling view. All right. Whew. That's it. I'm going to pause here, and then I'll come back and I'll bring this into Unity as well, so you can see what it looks like when it's in Unity. Alrighty-o, I'm back. Let's see if it's still recording. So the kids are asleep now. Read a few stories to them. Some Roald Dahl, I think it was called. So pretty much everything with this Spitfire is finished now, I'd say. We've got the propeller. Let's rename this one, called it Sticker. We can actually join this to the Spitfire. Control J to join. Okay, that's because I need to apply this mirror modifier first. Apply, Control J, or Shift select the airplane, Control J. There we go. And these as well will do. Apply the mirror modifier, and then slap it on there, and Control J to join it. Okay, let's export this thing now. We should actually move the little plane back now. I like to keep the center of the wing center here. So when it turns around the wing. So let's go Tab, A for everything, and then move it back to there. Let's look from the front as well. We'll probably keep it here. And then for the propeller, let's move it Tab. Let's see. Use the keypad here to move this one up. 7, 3. Yeah, I guess this looks pretty good. Now I notice that they don't quite connect here. So to fix that, we can select these interfaces and then just hit S to scale them, and that'll connect them into there. And then we'll move it A to select everything and move it back a little bit again to there. All right. And then that's it. And then let's move the center of the pivot point here. So with these propeller blades selected, I'll do F3 set origin, and now we'll do center volume instead. So that'll, if we rotate this around the y-axis, they'll spin nicely right there. And let's make sure with scale is 1 here, no rotation. And then for this one, scale is 1 and no rotation. That's good for Unity. We want to keep it like that. Control S to save it. And let's bring this thing into Unity now and see what it looks like in there. So I select these two, hold the Shift key, and then let's go to File, Export, FBX, and then we want to tick Selected Objects. And then it's important to do the Apply Scaling here to FBX Unit Scale, because then 1 unit in Blender will be 1 unit in Unity. And then finally, Experimental Apply Transform we want to do. That will make the rotation correct, otherwise the X rotation will be incorrect in Unity. So let's bring this straight into a Unity project. I've got one started here. Let's create a new folder here under Assets called Spitfire. And then let's do Show in Explorer here. Spitfire, Control C, and then we'll switch back to here. And then we'll type in this, copy and paste that path here, and then call this one Spitfire. And then export. And then it'll automatically import into Unity then, since we saved it into that folder. We can untick, we don't need this material, so we'll untick that material, click Apply. But what we will do is drag in the texture that we created before. We downloaded, let's see, in a download folder here somewhere, Spitfire PNG. And let's bring that in. And let's drag the Spitfire into the scene. And as you can see, the rotation is correct and everything. The scale position is a little off here, which is Let's fix that. Control A I'll hit when this is on, and then apply location. And then for the propeller, Control A. Do we want to do that actually? No, we want to keep the propeller there. So Control S. Let's mark these two again, Shift. Let's repeat, export, FBX, selected objects, FBX unit scale, apply transform. And let's overwrite this one. Here we go. And then we can just drag this Spitfire texture onto the Spitfire itself here, onto the sub-object there. The important thing to do here is, okay, so I can see that there are a few things here. First of all, we should change the Spitfire texture to from bilinear to point. And then we should disable any compression here. Because otherwise you'll get artifacts. And then you can see that these stickers that we created here are not correct. First, let's apply this and then rotate the light a bit. And the reason why the stickers are wrong is because the normals are incorrect. So we can go in here. If that happens, it was because when we extruded them, something went a little wrong. And here, if we go to the drop down here and then do backface culling, then we can see that those are hidden. So if we hover over this sticker and press the L key on all the stickers, and then press F3 and type flip norm, and then apply flip normals here. Tab to get out, let's hold Shift and select everything, Control S to save it, export, FBX, selected objects, FBX unit scale, and apply transform. So let's overwrite this one. And now we should have the stickers appear there. And also the lighting is a little bit off here because let's go to select the main camera, go to game object and align with view. That'll bring the camera into view there. So the lighting is the final thing we can adjust a little bit here. So we go to rendering light settings, and then let's switch this to auto generate the light. And then we need to assign the material here to the propeller as well. When I dragged the texture onto it, it created this material automatically. So we can drag this material onto the propeller as well. Okay, I think that's pretty much it. Should we do something else? No, we can tweak this a little bit. Either you can keep it into a traditional shade like this, or you can add some metallic to it. You rotate the light source here, you can see. You can have a metallic feel to it if you want. Let's keep it like that. I think for this one, I'll just keep it to the traditional old low poly looking style like that. There you have it. And the propeller, if you want to animate that one, that'll spin quite nicely in here as well, if you just do a rotation on that one. I don't know why I picked the Spitfire, but that's what I ended up with today. If you have any suggestions on any other type of objects to model, maybe other vehicles or props or houses or scenery, I don't know. Just throw it in the comments and I'll try to put a video together about that as well. So meanwhile, I hope you enjoyed this one, and stay tuned for more modeling videos and more Unity and Blender videos. And please subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the thumbs up if you liked it. I hope you did. I enjoyed making this one. Like I said, I love making low poly objects. Speak too much, speak too fast. Never mind, it's fun. I don't know why I said that either. Until next time, have a good day and I'll see you soon. Bye! Is that it? I hope I recorded everything now. Imagine if the camera was off. Can't believe Blender crashed on me once as well. Have a good day and I'll talk to you soon. Over and out. Oh yeah. All right. Let's do a little script here as well. Create script rotator. Let's put the rotator script onto the propeller. Rotator, and then do transform rotate, and we want to do it in the vector 3 forward direction, and then let's spin it at 1000 times time delta time to keep it consistent over frame rates. And now we should have a spinning propeller. Spitfire.